Hello, today's topic is ASL Register. It's also called Register Variation. And register variation is determined by linguistic characteristics of the signer and their choice of language use. It depends on the environment and the setting. There are variations of register that will be used depending on whether the situation is formal. And the communication mode will be determined, and the style of language use will be a more casual, home environment language use, or a more structured use. The signer will adjust their non-manual markers, body language, and posture depending on the register and the audience. It depends on who they are talking to. If they are in a position of power providing information, or if they are learning information themselves, will determine the register. If there's a large audience, they need to provide a more formal register for their presentations. When providing a presentation, the purpose is to provide the information as clear and precise as possible in order to help convince the audience of the perceived ideas. If the register does not match the environment, the meaning can be skewed. And when deciding the register, you will definitely need to look at the environment. I'd like to explain the 5 different registers there are. Now, this is prominent in all languages regarding spoken language or signed language. There was a researcher, Fu Martin, who published information regarding registers. There was a lot of debate that took place from that research. We've noticed that this is prevalent in all languages. So the first register is frozen. The second register is formal. The third is consultative. The fourth is informal. And the final register is intimate. So let me explain. Frozen register will be used for written languages, texts such as the Bible or Abraham Lincoln's famous speech 7 years ago. Now that information would not be changed or added. It would be provided exactly how it was written. It's more of kind of borrowing from the language. The second register is a formal register. You would have a formal presenter and a large audience. And while the person is presenting, it is going to be a formal audience with a large participants, which the presenter would have the stage during the entire time. Typically, questions are held to the end and not interrupted so that the ideas can be conveyed smoothly and convince the audience of the speaker's point. The third register is called consultative. It's kind of a more two-way street of communication. You will be able to see that one person does have more authority or power than the other. Let's say, for example, a doctor or a counselor or a professor providing information to their student. The students have an opportunity to ask questions and engage in the conversation and ideas. The fourth form, called informal, it's more of a community language. Basically, all participants are more equal and less of a power diversity. People typically use this outside of the classroom when talking with friends or someone that they know. It'll have a more rapid discussion and allows for more interruption than the previous registers. The final is intimate. That's language that you're going to use in a home or with your really good friends. Let's say 2 siblings are able to talk with each other, and someone looking from the outside may not be able to understand what they're saying because they're using a more intimate register and vocabulary. Now, for academic purposes and classes such as GS 103 at Gallaudet University, you're going to be using a more formal language when presenting or doing video essays. Because you're not going to have that interruption and going back and forth with another person, you want to make sure the ideas are very clear and smooth to be able to convince your point. So a person would be able to view your video and see clearly your ideas and your persuasion that is included in the speech. Now, there are different registers that can be used, and depending on the environment, it may be more consultative or a variety of registers will be used. Thank you.